Good evening. My name is Carrie V. Dean, and this is a Dullard speaking. Tonight, uh, I'm just kind of going a little chat about the beauty of how Trump can manipulate his little Maga people to go on a lot of these news feeds and stuff and try to berate, shame, and throw moral epitaphs and the whole 9 yards at everyone. And I find it interesting. Um, Sorry, I was looking on my phone, scrolling through, reading through some of the comments on this one news article about alligator Alcatraz and needing to be shut down and why it shouldn't be shut down, and people are arguing back and forth about why they want to shut down, and no, they don't shut down. And I just find it so funny. Um, so I went out there, excuse me, I went out there and it was kind of crazy. As I'm reading through all this stuff, I mean, the people were just losing their heads over this stuff, mostly MAGAs, um, screaming at people and thinking if they kept writing paragraphs upon paragraphs of comments back on your one comment, that they're winning the argument. And there was no argument to begin. Basically, um, I just wrote out there because throughout the whole article, all they were doing was just blaming the previous administration, and Biden's name came up a few times, and I'm like, so the president had signed all the president that signed all the executive orders that has the backing of the Supreme Court and the restricted plus suppressed oversight by Congress to the detriment of America's economy is Biden. Wow. So now I understand last year's good economy before the election, when people had jobs and the farmers had good, solid workers, was because of Trump. Therefore, I'm one voice of the 78% of Americans who are disappointed in the wrong current president. Yeah, I told you, I wrote that, and this one particular person just lost their little Maga mind and wrote me back. I can see you're part of the brainwash party. More people were deported when Obama was president and Biden was vice president than during any other president's tenure. Yet now your party acts like Trump is the devil for it, when he hasn't even come close to the numbers Obama Biden did. And don't forget, during that time, they were housed in literal cages, chain link fence cages. And let's not forget, when Clinton was in office, the Democrat Party was pushing to allow illegals to be deported with no due process for any of them. Now, Trump is trying to deport illegals with no due process if they've committed crimes or have gang affiliations, and he's the devil. Please make this all make sense to me. Open your eyes and see you're being brainwashed by the Democratic Party in certain news stations. How can you even trust them when there's such hypocrisy? Okay, then he shows me this little chart to back up what he was saying was true. And so I just like to have some fun. I wrote him back. Um, no one was deported. They were detained and turned around at the border because House conservatives from both parties, Dem Republicans, could not come to an agreement on expanding the budget for DHS, and both of the Democratic presidents were hesitant to use their executive power. President Trump is removing already established immigrants living in America without due process after he used his executive power to write orders revoking their legal rights to remain recognized as a citizen of America, which is in violation of the Constitution he has sworn to follow and keep. Oh boy. This person writes me back about the little graph he posted. The graph I posted shows interior removals in blue, and the orange shows turnarounds at the border. Your statement is clearly wrong. He goes on another little chunk. My entire career I've been in management. The only time ICE has ever showed up at my office of work was during Obama's presidency. They surrounded and shut down the company I worked for numerous times and audited people's paperwork, and each time they'd catch at least a couple people with illegal paperwork. I've never seen it happen during any other president's tenure. And here he goes again. Here's the difference between Trump's holding centers and Obama's top. This is the inside of alligator Alcatraz everyone says is inhumane. So he shows this newly makeshift put together camp called Alligator Alcatraz, and so I got a picture of all the bunks and how they're set up. And um, it it looks pretty much like how people described it. Pretty desolate. Um, So he writes again, you really should research what's actually going on and stop listening to the news stations that are clearly brainwashing people. Open your eyes and stop being brainwashed. I say that in the most sincere way possible. I said, okay. So I wrote him back and let him know. Your chart shows President Trump is a liar. According to him, Presidents Biden and Obama were the worst on deporting immigrants. But here is where your statement about either president falls apart. You don't have any detailed information that ICE was used to disappear American citizens. And I went into radio silence with that person. um, yeah, I'm telling you, you can't make this stuff up. It's so fun to watch somebody so impassionate about Trump that you can say he has a pimple on his nose, and they'll give you a full course meal on why he's a great president, but none of it has any real substance to it. They can't pick out one policy. They can't pick out anything positive that he's done for the American people. But they all agree, well, we're supporting him because he's getting rid of all the illegals. I said, illegals? Excuse me. That would still be the Hiolis. That's right. The white guys. You still would be the illegals. You came, you stole the land, and guess what? The Mexicans and the Indians and a few of the Africans were already settled here in America when the white man showed up. So, saying you're getting rid of all the illegals, we'd have to start at the White House and get rid of all those goofy people up in the White House, okay? As far as the article on Alligator Alcatraz, it was basically just reporting on the people are calling for it to be shut down because it was inhumane to build in the first place. So basically pointing out that our government wasted over $400 million or more to build this facility that's going to go to waste, as it's flooded twice and they haven't even put anyone in the facility yet, and it's already flooding. As the storm season rolls on, it's going to get even worse. So who knows what's going to happen with that. It looks like the courts were telling Trump that he had to stop putting people in there, and he's not happy about that. He was unhappy. He had a plane full of kids he was going to deport, and the courts told him you can't just do that. So he had that judge thrown out and removed, and got a new judge that is one of his guys. A judge that a kiss up to him put on the case, and we have to wait and see if he upholds what their first judge had already said, because she replaced the first judge that had already told him he couldn't do that. So we'll see what happens. He finally got a guy in there that might give him the go on deporting those kids. And we'll see. But I just thought that I'd do something kind of funny for the night to just show you just how crazy Trump supporters really are. They think watching Fox News is watching the real news. Oh boy. Yeah. They don't understand. Fox News is all about ratings. And they don't care which president's in office. They're all for the ratings. And that is the true face of capitalism. So call yourself a capitalist and a patriot and an American, then Fox News is all yours. Have at it. But this girl, there's too many other credit-worthy news companies that aren't in the U.S. out there reporting on all these things, including what's happening in the U.S., and doing it with more accuracy and more truth than our American media can muster right now. We'll just have to sit back and let this play out, folks. This is going to be a bumpy ride, but come midterms, hopefully most of us have gotten all that hatred that was built up in us and voted for Trump and then went, what the fuck? He's failing us all. Yeah, yes, he literally is. Billionaires are now starting to see that. And hopefully come midterms, we're going to see some changes in seats. And hopefully people don't just vote party. Listen to all the people that are on the campaign trail, even now, as early as right now. There's about 35 people now out campaigning for various positions, thinking they can do it better than the person that's in there. All we have to do is listen to them and make sure you listen. That is the thing. Not only just listen, but hear, absorb the words that they're using so that you fully comprehend what it is that they're implying they're going to do. This last time around, people voted with their hate and pretty much voted a slogan man into the office, and that's all he's been doing is throwing a bunch of slogans out, and every now and then he tells a fib or two about deals that he's made that actually are concepts of a deal. So just be careful when you're dealing with voting in the Maga days, as I call them. As the Maga blows. I will call it a night and wish you a good night. And this has been Carrie V. Dean for A Dullard Speaking. And please feel free to subscribe. Costs nothing. Also, hit the like and leave a comment. Have a better tomorrow.